Coming up on Cronkite News tonight, protesters call on Senator Kyrsten Sinema to end a key move that could change the balance of power on Capitol Hill.
And numerous health groups are calling for employers to issue a mandatory vaccination mandate for their employees. We have the details.
And later on Break It Down, what the NCAA's new policy means for college athletes.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Isabella Fredrickson.
And I'm Harrison Klopp. Thank you for joining us.
This morning, the group, the Poor People's Campaign, led rallies across the nation, including Arizona, in efforts to end the filibuster. Faith Abercrombie talked with some of the protesters at the march.
You're hiding behind a filibuster. This is what you're blocking.
Dozens of protesters chanted, "Fighting for justice," held signs, and marched the streets in hopes to end the filibuster, pass voter and workers' rights legislation, and raise the federal minimum wage.
The filibuster right now is the biggest cause to stop any sort of progressive legislation from passing. So we need to make sure that that gets put out of the way so that things that help our communities actually come about.
Last month, voting legislation was blocked by the filibuster, including the For the People Act. This bill would expand voter registration and voting access.
Have the right to vote. This voting bill, if it's not, it's going to protect everyone, and if it doesn't, it's going to affect the brown and black community even more. So I believe that's important for us to be here because we deserve all to have the equal rights to vote.
Unions, organizations, and Arizona faith leaders gathered together in effort to get Senator Sinema to vote to end the filibuster.
I'm a DACA recipient, and for me, what happened last week was hurtful. We need to stand up for communities like mine, stand up for other communities who are the same right now, are staying the same right now. We need to pass legislation that helps our communities, not that hurts them.
Senator Sinema recently wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post explaining why she believes in keeping the filibuster. It says in part, "My support for retaining the 60-vote threshold is not based on the importance of any particular policy. It is based on what is best for our democracy. The filibuster compels moderation and helps protect the country from wild swings between opposing policy poles." In Phoenix, Faith Abercrombie, Cronkite News.
There are reports that as many as 30 people were arrested at today's events, including the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
More than 50 healthcare groups are demanding a mandate that calls on healthcare employees to get vaccinated. The Department of Veteran Affairs is the first major federal agency to require healthcare workers to get COVID-19 vaccines. Banner Health, the largest private employer in Arizona, issued a vaccine mandate of its own Friday. The American Medical Association, American College of Physicians, and the American Public Health Association have signed on to a joint statement. The groups say the new spike of COVID cases is directly correlated with the new Delta variant in unvaccinated citizens.
Well, we've all been saying that, look, if we don't all get vaccinated, the way this disease spreads is from person to person, and the way these viruses mutate is when they can spread. So again, the best way for us to wipe out this Delta variant so that it does not become the threat that it currently is and get worse is to get everybody vaccinated.
More healthcare experts are talking about the necessity of bringing back mask mandates. 2 California counties already have them. Dr. Benjamin just recently visited Arizona. He says he knows how hard it was to wear a mask in this Arizona heat. However, he says the inconvenience of wearing a mask will save your life.
Other experts are joining him, calling for a return to mitigation efforts like masking and social distancing. The Biden administration announced today that the current travel restrictions will remain in place as positive cases surge in the U.S. This announcement comes as Canada says they will begin allowing fully vaccinated and permanent residents of the United States to enter Canada, starting on August 9th.
We will maintain existing travel restrictions at this point for a few reasons. The more transmissible Delta variant is spreading both here and around the world. Driven by the Delta variant, cases are rising here at home, particularly among those who are unvaccinated, and appear likely to continue in the weeks ahead.
Coming up next on Cronkite News, dry conditions continue to plague the state despite the recent weather. We saw a lot of rain this weekend, but did it make a difference with Arizona's drought? We'll take a look after the break.
And a closer look at the damage left behind by those powerful monsoon thunderstorms over the weekend. We have the details.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go, lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed, discover new favorites from PBS, and local content from your PBS station.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
Over the weekend, most of Arizona was hit with massive storms that brought record inches of rainfall. The heat wasn't the only thing that the rainfall helped offset. Cronkite News reporter Tina Giuliano tells us how the monsoons have helped our state.
For more than 20 years, Arizona has been in a drought.
And last year we were covered with high pressure, those domes of heat, as they like to call them. And that prevented that moisture from coming into Arizona.
The dry summer coupled with the weak winter last year has led Arizona to be in a D4 or exceptional drought, the highest level of drought.
When we have a wet summer like we have so far this year, which is fabulous, what that does is it helps mitigate some areas of drought.
The recent storms have brought in record inches of rain, bumping some areas of Arizona down to a D3 or extreme drought, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor.
So this summer, we're seeing a different setup in the atmosphere, and it's allowing that moisture to come in.
According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, about 36% of the state is in D4 drought compared to last week's 57.7%.
When we look at drought and understanding what it is, it's a very long-term process.
These intense storms, one right after the other, produce a lot of runoff water, which doesn't fill the reservoirs and aquifers.
It helps a little, but it's not going to completely remove our drought signature.
Saffel says we need light rainfall more often, especially in the winter.
Now, to get us out of drought, what it's going to take are some really wet winters.
She says those water reservoirs and aquifers are recharged in the winter with snow.
So we want some really heavy, intense winter events for several winters.
She says while nature does its part, we must do ours, like taking short baths and turning off the water while brushing your teeth.
Well, I always encourage everyone to do their part, whatever they can do.
Saffel says with more rain that is expected to fall in the coming weeks, we might see more improvement to the drought. In Phoenix, Tina Giuliano, Cronkite News.
The National Weather Service says monsoon season lasts until September 30th.
Some monsoon thunderstorms brought flooding into the valley, but the amount of rain may be a good thing. Sky Harbor saw more rain just this last weekend than it saw in all of last year's monsoon season. However, a flash flood warning was sent out to 13 Arizona counties that lasted throughout the weekend, including Maricopa County. Homes flooded in the East Valley and some cars were left stranded due to flash flooding over in the West Valley, but those storms are coming to an end in the valley. Let's go to Peyton Watts in the Weather Center for the forecast for the week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at our futurecast to start things off here. We had some showers the past couple of days here in Arizona, and that's going to continue on the eastern border. As you see, going all the way down, we're going to be seeing some light rain all the way on that border. Moving into the Tucson area, it's going to be a little bit heavier. We're going to see some showers around there, but it's not going to be too crazy. Moving on into the state highs for next week, or for tomorrow, it's going to be 101 degrees in Phoenix. So we're going to be getting some heat back. Moving up into the northern area, it's going to be 88 degrees in Sedona, 77 degrees in Flagstaff. And onto the western border, Yuma, it's going to be our hottest temperature today. It's going to be 107 degrees tomorrow. And up in Bullhead, it's going to be 106. So if you're on that western border, just be safe, drink a lot of water, as we will be seeing some higher temperatures once again. Moving on into the evening planner, it's going to be 95 degrees around 6 p.m. around dinner time. So this might be a nice night to go out and eat outside with the family or something, as it will be a little bit cooler than what we're used to lately. Going on into 10 p.m., 90 degrees around then when everybody's going to bed. Going to get a little bit of cloud coverage, but not too overcast. Moving on for the rest of the week. 101 degrees on Tuesday, 104 on Wednesday. And as we move into the weekend, we're going to get some cloud coverage. Temperatures are going to drop a little bit. It's going to go all the way down to 97 degrees, but they will rise once again to 100 degrees once we start the next week. And in the Weather Center, Peyton Watts, Cronkite News.
I'm Erin Slendy, and coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. We'll take a look at the athletes with Arizona ties that are competing in the Tokyo Olympics. Stick around.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing. Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go. Lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and local content from your PBS station.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Erin Slendy, and this is your Cronkite Sports Report. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics officially began after a year-long delay. The opening ceremonies were held Friday, and many athletes have already started to compete, including some from Arizona. Over the weekend, gymnastics preliminaries began featuring two Arizonans, Michaela Skinner and Jade Carey. And one Phoenix native, Jagger Eaton, has already won a medal. He earned bronze at the first ever Olympic skateboarding competition. Let's go to Emily Carmen at the Google touchscreen to learn which other Arizona athletes to watch this Olympic Games.
Team USA sent over 600 athletes to the Games, and of those, 19 are Arizona natives. As you can see, they hail from all over the state, from Flagstaff to Tucson. These Arizona Olympians are competing across 13 different sports, including rugby, soccer, archery, and others. Some notable athletes to watch out for. Sarah Sponsel of Phoenix won her first match of beach volleyball preliminaries last night. There's the famous Julie Ertz of the women's national soccer team. Brady Ellison, the current world record holder in archery, will be competing throughout the week. And then Delaney Schnell of Tucson, currently in Arizona Wildcat, will be diving into the competition on Tuesday. You can also look out for several athletes who have competed at Arizona universities. As you can see, ASU is sending 21 athletes and 4 coaches. The Wildcats are represented by 23 athletes and 3 coaches, and NAU and GCU are sending a few athletes themselves. You could find a full list of all the Arizona Olympians competing in Tokyo on our website, cronkitenews.azpbs.org. Back to you, Erin.
Here's a quick look at the Olympics schedule this week, which will feature some of these athletes. Gymnastics medal events are happening throughout the week, as well as beach volleyball preliminaries. Delaney Schnell will dive tonight, and the women's soccer team plays tomorrow morning. Another name many in the Valley are familiar with is Devin Booker. The star guard for the Phoenix Suns took off shortly after the team's loss in the NBA Finals to join USA men's basketball team in Tokyo. Booker made his Olympic debut in Team USA's group stage game against France over the weekend. Unfortunately, the late addition of Booker has not helped the men's team gain momentum, as the team lost for the first time in the Olympics since 2004, snapping a 25-game win streak in the Olympics for Team USA. One athlete who will not be competing is former Arizona State golfer Jon Rahm. The top-ranked golfer in the world was set to represent Spain in the Olympics. However, he will be forced to forego the games after he tested positive for the coronavirus. This is the second time Rahm has tested positive for the coronavirus within the last 2 months. In June, Rahm was forced to withdraw from the Memorial Tournament prior to the final round after testing positive for COVID-19. That's it for your Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Isabella and Harrison.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight.
Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.